Hello everyone, this is Cool Nerd TV, and this is the first episode of Pro Wrestling Now 1. We're here to bring you the latest and greatest in wrestling. Let it be the reviews, or let it be the news. Just to tell you, we're going to have a star-studded show today with a bunch of up-and-comers and a couple of faces that you might know. And we're also going to be featuring the Backyard Wrestling Match of the Year that happened at season finale from the promotion NFW with Dread facing Jack Stone and a title versus career match. All here are Pro Wrestling Now 1. Let's get into the show. So one of the biggest news that has hit wrestling since 2 weeks ago when we all thought that Sting was going to be on next week's Raw, The Rock, after a 7-year layoff, has returned to the WWE. He will be the host for WrestleMania. Now, am I the only one that's hyped? I can't be, because this might be the greatest thing that I've ever seen. The Rock King cut an amazing promo, and guess what? He will be taking us on the journey this year on the road to WrestleMania. You're not hyped for this? You should be. Now let's get to the rest of the people that are on the show.
Alright, this is me shooting my first video for Pro Wrestling Now. And I want to start off at the best place, and that is The Miz. Now, I've liked The Miz ever since his ECW days, his run with Morrison. They're next up against Brian Kendrick and Paul London for longest WWE Tag Team Champions. And then for him to leave that, come in, have his feud with John Cena, and become United States Champion, do his whole run in NXT, win Money in the Bank, and become WWE Champion. It's just amazing to me. I like The Miz. I think he is awesome. His little get-up that he does every single night. The Miz is probably my favorite commodity in pro wrestling right now. Now that I've talked about my favorite one, let's talk about my least favorite one. Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. Hulk Hogan isn't even on TV, and he won't be till March. But I still don't like that he's there. I don't like Hulk Hogan. I don't like Eric Bischoff. I don't like Ric Flair. I don't. I respect them. Those guys paved the way. I mean, Eric Bischoff and the Monday Night Wars, and I loved Eric Bischoff as Raw G. He's my favorite general manager of all time. But it's done. It's over. I'm tired of seeing it. And I don't know what TNA's whole little wrestling is ruled by factions thing that they have going on. But I don't agree with it. I don't like to see it. I'm tired of it. I don't know in what book they read that wrestling always has to have a major heel faction, but it's not true, and it kind of destroys your product. I mean, Fortune, Immortal, Main Event Mafia, Team Angle, Team Christian, or whatever they were back in the day. I'm tired of it. I enjoyed TNA. I liked TNA. TNA has better wrestlers. TNA has better concepts. I mean, the concept of suicide is amazing. Suicide can be anyone. They can drop anyone and make them suicide. Like, it's ideas like that that I think are good for wrestling. But then you have Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo and all these guys who have been there, done that, and destroyed companies in this company. And I don't want to see it. I want to see TNA. I want to see TNA rise up because, excuse me, that competition will create good wrestlers. What created the Attitude Era? The Monday Night Wars. That's when I caught on to wrestling. That's when I got into it, at the height of the Monday Night Wars. But now it just seems like it's slowly fading away, and I don't want to see it happen. So, Jeff Jarrett, Dixie Carter, you guys see this video, make sure you fire Hulk Hogan and fire Eric Bischoff. Listen to me. I know what's best. Hire me. I'll write for you guys. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything like that, feel free to leave them. I'll get back to you in my next video. I look forward to hearing from you. This is J-Rup signing off.
Looking for death.
Okay, everybody, this is going to be a very quick video, probably 3 to 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but it's a very broad question. It's called, what is a wrestling fan? Now, people usually beat around the bush a lot, and they explain what kind of wrestling fans. Like, you have indie wrestling fans, mainstream wrestling fans, you have people like trolls, you have people who are marks, etc., but I've seen very few videos who actually answer the question, to their opinion, because there's really no certain like pinpoint bullseye answer on what a wrestling fan is, but this is what a wrestling fan is to me. A wrestling fan appreciates the wrestler for the effort and the work they put out, such as people like MVP, people like Davey Richards, people like John Cena, people enter trolls there, people like Shawn Michaels, people like like Natalia, some of the divas, okay, just Natalia. They put in the effort into the wrestling and not so much the show. And if they put effort into both, which you can tell, like John Cena does that. Davey Richards more so the wrestling than the show, or he sort of both, but Shawn Michaels was both. Undertaker is both most of the time, but they don't want to give you a show. They want to give you a wrestling match that you paid to see or you turn on your TV to see. It's not so much what real wrestling fans want is not a 5-star match every time, because that would be boring and that would take away the whole purpose of a 5-star match. And that's where a lot of people come in and say indie fans only like 5-star matches. That's not true. I mean, for a perfect example, The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18, we appreciate what they put out. It wasn't a 5-star match by any means, but it was such a spectacle, such a great performance between both of them, such ring psychology that there was almost nothing like it as far as the spectacle goes, the specialness of the match. A wrestling fan will always stick around the business. Now, I understand people take time off, like let's say they watched the Attitude Era, they watched up to let's say 2000, then in 2003 came around, they haven't watched it since, they come back on, they're like, who's John Cena, who's The Miz, etc., etc. That is still being a wrestling fan in my opinion, but it's really not. I mean, I'm not 100% gonna say that it's bad to leave the wrestling business. I mean, if you have your personal problems or if you have whatever, if you just don't like it, that's perfectly fine. But as long as you don't go around saying that this wrestling sucks, you know what? Wrestling in all, it's meant to entertain you. People put their hard money, their hard time, their hard earnings into giving you what you want, and what you want is wrestling. No matter, even if it's TNA, which, Jesus Christ, TNA is horrible, but there are many workers in that business so it shouldn't be horrible, if you know what I mean, and that's not their fault. WWE is okay. Ring of Honor is very good. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, very fun. Chikara, very fun. FIP, okay. You know, I have that opinion. I don't super criticize that if I'm talking about the company in general, but I don't completely over-glorify everything. Express his opinion. I kind of touched on this earlier, but everyone has their opinion. No one is going to be in a shell that they just fall. I shouldn't say no one, but not very many people are just in the little shell that agree with everything that everybody says. Like, let's say people keep, prime example, quote unquote, John Cena sucks. Back in 2005, he had a good year. 2006, not so much. I mean, in 2005, they put John Cena in the ring with the likes of Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Christian, and and Edge. When you see that, it's good because of who they put him in the ring with, and it's bad when you put him in the ring with Umaga, the Big Show, Batista, the Great Khali, etc., etc. People have been, this whole stereotype that John Cena sucks was just built around a few 15, 16-year-olds that just didn't like him at the time, throughout these huge rants and raves about him sucking, and then people have been saying he sucks for so long. If you watch some of his matches, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. But you know what? That's your opinion. But a lot of opinions are formed around one single person, one single group that just sprouts like a fucked up flower that corrupts the wrestling world. And this video dragged on a little bit, but the last thing, have fun with it. I mean, we're watching a scripted sport. I mean, come on, you shouldn't criticize and take all this so seriously, and I know I've had my share of rants, but you know what, it's for fun. I mean, most of my rants, people laugh at. The whole Bobby Patton thing, people laugh at. I don't take this completely seriously. I mean, it's fun. We watch a sport, we report on it, we like to hear people's opinions, we like to, what's the word? We like people's interactions with our videos and with the wrestling itself. You go to the shows, you buy DVDs, some people buy action figures, you buy posters, you do whatever you can, you buy t-shirts, you have fun with the sport, and that's what we should do. Stop being so serious, be a wrestling fan.